tools. A/B testing tools, analytics, personalization, and email responders. That's sort of the tool sets that you need to do this. If your daddy Warbucks, which I'm an older guy, so that's like Little Orphan Annie, and it's like a really rich guy who smokes cigars, so if you don't know what that is, if you're Bill Gates, okay? Core metrics and Omniture are great tools to do this. You could probably buy a Lamborghini too, so you got to figure out where you want to allocate assets. If you're a cheapskate like me, Google Analytics, Kissmetrics, Performable, Mixpanel. Google Analytics, it's cheap. Google Analytics, it's anything, almost anything besides search built by Google is software by and for engineers. If you have a marketing person, they can't use Google Analytics because they don't know anything about the depth of JavaScript tagging and how to program that and how to figure that out. Often, even the tool itself is sometimes like counterintuitive to figure out even how to set up a flow, a funnel, a goal, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of get what you pay for with Google Analytics. It's a good place to learn, but it's pretty painful, and I would suggest that your time may be more valuable because you're going to spend a lot of time pulling your hair out. Then you make one site change and you broke all your goals, and now you can't compare before and after and all that. It's kind of hard. And the other thing is, if you ever get to be a high volume site, Google Analytics after like 10,000 starts sampling. So your numbers are wrong. You have to be a little bit careful.
Say that again?
Google Analytics, after you start getting 10,000 hits a day, they start sampling. If you go to like, there's some pretty good analytics forums. If you go there, they sort of go through this. I don't want to get into this. Yeah. It starts getting statistical theory and why Google thinks it does it right and everybody else thinks that they don't. And I don't want to even fight that battle, but my suggestion, if you're getting that many people, you should probably use different software anyways because you're probably doing all right, or you're spending a lot of money wrong. So, Kissmetrics. Kissmetrics, number one, it builds fantastic funnels. Really, really good at that. Oh yeah, also Google Analytics does not do the personalization part. They don't do anything about that. And funnels, they kind of sort of do, but not really. Kissmetrics is the best of all these for building funnels. It's really, really good, really, really easy. You can look at it and in about 5 minutes you'll figure out how to build a funnel. It's really, really good for that. Google Analytics, you cannot identify an individual customer. You can play around with the JavaScript to do that, but you just violated their terms of service, and if they find out, they will shut you down and you just lost all your analytics. You have to be like really careful. But it's like in order to do the stuff I just showed you, you need to be able to identify an individual customer and know what they've been doing. So Google Analytics, Kissmetrics can do that. It's not, but beyond the funnel, the point that they convert and become a customer, it's not designed to do that. So now you're starting to use the tool outside its comfort zone. They're really, really helpful, and they've got an A team. Performable is actually my favorite on this list. That's what I use. Or what we use. Performable is an A/B testing tool and an analytics tool. Really great team, super helpful, and I'm just amazed because like you could be like talking to Performable and you're like, I have this problem. Like, hang on, and they bring in somebody like, hey, can you explain to me what you think should happen? And then they call you back like a week later, hey, can I show you this? That's like pretty awesome, and these guys are like really knocking it out of the park. They have a great blog. Both Kissmetrics and Performable have great blogs, by the way, so it's pretty good. Performable, they claim to do cohort analysis, but if you look at it, it's ultra light cohort analysis with just some simple graphs, but it doesn't do like the funnel part, which is really hard, and they don't have anything to do with helping you move the customer down the road. Well, that's a good start, and I highly recommend it. Mixpanel does all that, but again, you got to be an engineer. Mixpanel is a Y Combinator company. It's a big incubator. If you guys don't know, that's like the incubator, actually. If you guys don't know what that is. I had a marketing analyst. We worked throughout some work. She doesn't know anything about being technical, but she's like brilliant at figuring out landing pages and the right copy and all this kind of stuff. So she was working with Mixpanel, and they had this like cool like chat feature where you run into a problem, you can chat with them. And she would chat with him several times a day, and then the next day she comes in and the chat feature's gone. And then she would email with him, and then after about 2 more days, they just stopped answering her email. Because she had to know things like how to format UTM strings in the URL, you know, where you get the question mark UTM equals this. I don't want to get into what that means, but that's how they kind of know who you are. Well, she doesn't really understand what any of that stuff means. And so she's trying to find out, and they just totally blew her off. So I have a really bad feeling about those guys. Other people who I talk to who have had a good things happen, they're fairly technical people. So none of that's daunting. But if you want to you're going to get to the point where you need a marketing person to do this, because there's a lot of tweaking. You're doing landing pages all day, seeing what works, changing, the word, changing the button from blue to red, and seeing which one converts better. And that's usually not a good thing for a highly paid engineer to do who should be building your product. So note that for any of these, you need programming and marketing skill. Probably Performable and Kissmetrics the least, Google Analytics and Mixpanel the most. So that creates a problem in the market. And none of those tools do personalization. The enterprise level tools, core metrics, web trends, tools like that, they do it. But again, for a startup, nobody has enough money to do that. And I would also strongly suggest that you don't start spending your money on those kind of tools. They're like big. That's like buying SAP or Oracle or something like that. It's just really big tools that probably not the right place for a startup. Unless you really talk somebody into a lot of money, and you're like Flip or something. Most personalization tools don't connect to analytics or A/B testing tools. So there are tools that do personalization. Most personalization tools are found inside of a framework. So inside Ruby, inside .NET, things like that, there are personalization tools that move people. But again, you need programmers to do that. So an engineer can do that, but that's really expensive. Although it's a great use of time, you have to judge whether you need new features or customer retention when you're really small. So we've been looking at this for a while and trying to figure out, well, what do we do? Because this is really, really hard stuff. Now, if you talk to Mike Evans of Grubhub, they went out and they built all this stuff. If you talk to Brant of Groupon, they built all this stuff before they actually started doing anything. They built it first. That's the way they're very data-driven. So you start talking to all these people, they actually had their engineers stop everything they were doing to build this stuff. So that's like really, really hard. And our customers at Pathfinder, they have the same problem. They don't know how to measure this. So we've been talking about, how do we solve this? So what we decided that we were going to do is we're going to try to solve this problem. We came up with this idea for this company, Be Sticky. And so we're doing customer development on that right now. So if any of you is a revenue stage company, we'd love you to go to our website, just take a survey, give us some feedback about how to do this, because we're trying to help everybody to do this. Because in a commercial, we don't have any software to sell you or anything. We're just trying to get some help and some ideas about what you guys need, so we can create something that's better for all of us. So, here's the basic failure to communicate.
On or not?
Yeah, it is. There it is. Okay, so some resources. There's a site called forentrepreneurs.com. If you've never seen it, go there. That's all about stats. It's all about what you should be looking at. They talk about all kinds of different ways to measure software as a service company and build a dashboard. So when you're building a dashboard, you should go there. David Cancel, again, the CEO, Performable, great guy, and he's got some very good thoughts about how to measure stuff to be successful in customer validation. Dave McClure, 500 Hats. Again, he's pretty racy. He says like a lot. Dave says Dave has no filter between brain and mouth, so if that kind of stuff bothers you, you probably don't want to go there. Brant Cooper, Market by Numbers, really sharp guy. Like I said, he was here with Patrick early November. And then if you could take our survey. So that's